L.T.D was a popular R&B group during the 1970s. Together, the group recorded 7 LPs, including 1 platinum album, as well as 2 gold albums. The group also had 9 top 20 singles with 4 top 10 hits. They had a nice run with memorable songs like Love Ballad, Every Time I Turn Around, Back in Love Again, Holding On, When Love Is Gone, and We Both Deserve Each Other's Love. After struggling through 2 albums that didn't do much, the group finally began to get noticed for their work. But just as they began to hit their stride, the group broke up. Why did this happen? The truth is a combination of different things, but as a result, the breakup was a terrible one. In fact, it was so bad, it's safe to say the group will never do a reunion tour. Why? Listen and find out why Jeffrey Osborne left L.T.D, but also find out why L.T.D will never do a reunion tour. In L.T.D's infancy, Jeffrey Osborne started out with the group as their drummer. The group had 10 members, and there was no clear lead singer. According to Osborne, all 10 guys thought they could sing, so the group basically took turns letting people sing lead. The turning point was the group's 1977 cut, Love Ballad. Osborne sang lead on what was perhaps the group's signature song. At that point, the record label stepped in and told the group that they needed to establish an identity. The label believed that Osborne was their best shot at doing that, which is how Jeffrey came to be the official lead singer of L.T.D. While the group was gaining in popularity with the public and winning more fans, Osborne was looking to spread his wings. This is when tension began to show up in his relationship with the rest of the group. Osborne was becoming known as a good songwriter and was sought after by other artists who wanted him to write for them. However, there was one thing that held him back from doing so: L.T.D. This is what Osborne had to say on the subject. Quote, "I think what happened was I was really evolving at the time as a songwriter, and I had so many people coming at me, want me to write songs for them. Back then we had this thing, which I don't know why we did, but we had a songwriters agreement, which was an exclusive songwriters agreement that we signed within the group, so they wouldn't allow me to write songs for other artists." Unquote. Basically, the agreement meant he was only allowed to write songs for L.T.D. Osborne also said that they, at one time, had an additional arrangement in the group that he said was quote-unquote stupid ish you do when you're young. When Osborne first began writing songs for the group, L.T.D wanted him to put other people's names on his songs so they all could be set up in ASCAP and BMI and get money off of the publishing. For those that don't know, ASCAP stands for the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, and BMI stands for Broadcast Music Incorporated. These companies ensure that songwriters' rights are protected and that they receive proper payment whenever their songs are played on the radio, played in bars, and things of that nature. Osborne admitted that initially he was allowing other people to do this until he learned better. L.T.D also prevented him from doing guest performances, and they wouldn't let him do a solo album while still remaining in the group. Osborne felt that they stifled him and wouldn't allow him to grow as an artist. That's when he made up his mind he had to lead the group. After he announced this, Jeffrey remained with the group for an additional album and an additional tour. These events took place over nearly 2 years. However, none of that did anything to ease his exit when he finally officially left L.T.D. The split was far from a good one. Initially, the group said they would grant him all the releases he needed to leave the group and go solo. However, when the time came for him to do so, L.T.D refused to give him the releases. Eventually, he had to wait for almost a year before he could sign with A&M Records. This was primarily because A&M wanted to sign Osborne to a publishing deal that would run at the same time with his artist deal. Not having the releases prevented this from happening. During this time, Osborne said he was broke, as he had no way to earn money. Even after Osborne was gone, the ill will still continued. As he was leaving, because of the way the group treated him on his way out, Osborne told L.T.D not to ever ask him to do anything with the group. The group retorted by saying they didn't care if he ever came back or not. and that he would never make it as a solo artist. They told him that L.T.D made Jeffrey Osborne, not the other way around. Osborne had a certain amount of nervousness about going solo. He was used to working as a part of a group. Additionally, his name didn't help him, as people had no idea who he was individually. They only knew L.T.D and their lead singer's voice, not Jeffrey Osborne. Ultimately, Jeffrey was able to get people to put his voice and his name together. His solo career would far surpass his career with L.T.D. While he was a member of L.T.D for about 10 years, he's been a solo artist for over 40 years and counting. He continues to tour, singing a collection of both L.T.D songs and his own solo hits. How did L.T.D do? After Osborne's departure, the group would only release 2 more albums and would only have 1 more top 20 single. They also are still touring, albeit with a lot of new members due to the deaths of several original members and also original member departures after Jeffrey left. So who suffered the most when Jeffrey left the group? Osborne or L.T.D? The facts speak for themselves, as Osborne was obviously far more successful in his endeavors. When recently asked whether there would ever be an L.T.D reunion tour, Osborne said that when he left the group, L.T.D told him they didn't care if he ever came back, and he was going to hold him to that. So there it is. The man who's most needed to make that reunion happen has told us all in no uncertain terms that it ain't going to happen. We hope you like this dive into the background of why Jeffrey Osborne left L.T.D and why there will never, ever, 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 ever be an L.T.D reunion tour. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and be sure to come back and check out more videos.